So tonight we're going to be transplanting some seedlings we have into our AeroGarden unit. We started these seedlings in a dome. We put the seeds right into some rock wool, set the rock wool in the dome, and they grew.
So what we've got here today is a bunch of different super hot pepper varieties.
Basically, the AeroGarden it's basically a self-contained unit. So you fill it with water, there's a pump inside, set this on the base, and there's a light, and it adjusts up to 24 inches, and it gets on a timer, and basically it takes care of itself.
We've been using our AeroGarden unit, and this is the Harvest Elite. They have a few different varieties available. This is the one that we went with. They have some that are bigger. We went with the 6 pod option because we've never done this before. We've been using it now for some time. I think we originally set it up in February.
Yeah, January or February.
Yeah, so we've had it for a few months now, about 5 months. It took a little bit of trial and error, so we wanted to do a full run through of how we are using it. The nice thing about this is it is really self-sufficient. It tells you every step that you need to do. It takes care of the lighting. It takes care of all the timers, when you need to add water, when you need to add food. So it's been great for people like ourselves who were really, really new to hydroponics. We've never done this before. So it was a really good introduction. It's tiny. It stays out of the way. It's quiet. It just does its own thing. So we wanted to show you all the things that we've kind of discovered along the way to troubleshoot and what's been working really, really well for us so far.
The first real issue that we ran into with these is the media that we used. So when you buy the AeroGarden, it comes with these baskets, and basically the basket fits in and it sets inside, and the bottom of the media touches the water, and it soaks the nutrients up from the bottom. So when we bought it, we had bought some grow sponges, and not really knowing what we were doing or how this all was going to work. These grow sponges, not even sure what they're made out of.
They look like they'd be made out of peat or like out of cocoa bar or something like that.
Something along those lines. So basically, you take the seeds and you pop them inside of here. You put the pod inside the basket, set the basket in, and basically forget it.
Here's the thing though. We got a terrible germination rate with these. And now, in fairness, these are an off-brand that we purchased on Amazon when we bought our AeroGarden unit. We were like, oh great, we'll get some extras. We'll get a bunch of them. There's like 100 in here. They were terrible. We honestly don't even know what material they're made out of.
Yeah.
When they're wet, they feel like a disgusting rubber piece.
Yeah.
So it didn't germinate. I think we got one seed to germinate, which I think miraculously we still have that plant going. But like it was a complete disaster. So we ripped them out and we decided to start seeds in rock wool instead. So theoretically, you should be able to germinate seeds in this unit, which is what we wanted it for. But instead, we germinated our seeds, like all these ones that you see here today, in a humidity dome outside of the unit. Today, we're going to transfer them in. This has worked out great in the last round. So we wanted to show everybody how we did it and what has worked really, really nicely.
So another issue we ran into is we had stuffed the rock wool into these baskets and let them grow. And I mean, they grew great inside the rock wool. The problem we had is the root systems became so enormous and we couldn't get it out.
So you're not necessarily supposed to be removing plants from this. Our intention for this unit was that we were going to start plants, grow them to seedling, and then transfer them into either our hydroponic buckets that we have in our grow tent or transfer them into our outdoor grow into soil containers. So that's what we needed to do with this. So by having to wrestle the root systems out of this little basket, it's a little bit of a pain. you can do it, but we figured we would kind of cut that nonsense out since we already know we're not going to be keeping these pepper plants in this unit to mature.
So what we're going to do is I'm going to cut the bottom of this basket right off. That way the roots can just come freely out. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to snip right up the side and leave that opening there. So when we do take these pods out or take the actual plants, once they're grown, we can just open it right up and remove them, and then we'll be able to reuse these in the future. Yes. So I've gone ahead and I've filled up this gallon jug with water and nutrients. We struggled with this initially in our first time too, was how or what to feed the plants. We've always wanted to go and do everything organically, and we had started using Fox Farm. The Fox Farm products we initially used were made pretty much for soil. So we did some further investigating, and we saw that Fox Farm has a line called Cultivation Nation, and it's specifically made for hydroponics. So I mean, we found this and instantly bought it. So, and we've had great luck with it ever since. I printed this out from the Fox Farm website, and it is the hydroponic feeding schedule. Everything is by the gallon, and it breaks it down at the bottom. So here is our premix. We have some Cultivation Nation Grow. So according to this feeding chart, it says to use a half a teaspoon per gallon, which is what I used. The other thing I added also was some pH down. So we have well water, and when you add the fertilizer into it, it adjusts the pH, and it was a little high. So I put some pH down in it and adjusted it down to about 5.8.
It's a really good idea to pH your water. When we're watering outdoors, we're not pHing our water. We're watering out of a hose. But because we're doing a hydroponic grow and it's indoors, we are going to do everything that we can to control every little bit of it, because these plants are 100% reliant on us, and everything is directly absorbed into their roots without any buffer of soil. So getting all these measurements right is a little bit more important. And you could probably get away with a little more if you're doing soil, but in this case, we're going to make sure that we're doing the pH.
So, and it's a great idea to get one of these tools here. So this is a 4-in-1 tester. It tests the pH, the salinity, electrocurrents, and TDS. So all basically everything you need to balance out the nutrients and the pH is all tested right here. So right, I'll just show you right now. I'm testing the pH. I think it's important to be between 5.5 and 6.5 with your pH. I think if you want to even narrow that down, maybe 5.8 to 6.2 would be like very ideal. So this is at 5.8 here.
I'm going to lift up the top here. It just pops right off, super easy.
And if you can see inside, this little knob right here that says fill to this level. It doesn't take quite a gallon. So it's easier to mix the food by the gallon. So,
and if we have a little bit left over, that's no big deal. I mean, it can sit in the bottle for a little bit. Plus, we have some other seedlings that we can feed it to, so it's not going to go to waste or anything.
More than half gallon, but less than the full gallon.
So now the top, we're just going to drop this right back on. And this does have, when the plants are in here, it's got a little cover for an opening that you can just top off the water as needed or add food.
Fits right in. It's almost like the game perfection. It just pops right in. It only goes one way.
Except all the plants don't like explode out of it at once if, you know, like we don't do it in time or something. So we don't think they are. Maybe we just got lucky with some time.
Maybe.
So what do you want to put in first?
All right. So why don't we grab one of the singles?
Okay. What we have here is a Black Panther orange seedling. Which is very dark leaves. It's like a black colored leaf. It's very cool. And this one, you can see the root system hanging down out of the rock wool. This has been in a seed starting mix to help it further along. Originally, we weren't planning on putting these in the AeroGarden, so now we're pulling them out of the rock wall, and they've got some remnants of this grow mix on them. But it's not a big deal because it's not going to jam anything up in here. I'm going to brush the mix off a little bit as much as I can. If you don't know what rock wool is, it's a really good media to start seeds in. You get excellent germination rates with this. I really like it a lot. It retains moisture fantastically. What we're going to do is maybe kind of tear some of this away to make it fit into the basket a little bit better.
I just want to make sure I'm not cutting into any of the root system that's come down. So let's see if we can fit this down. It's nice to have that this does have the root system that's hanging down, and you definitely want that to be touching the water. So I'm going to pop this right in. And it does kind of snap into place.
This one is a Komodo dragon.
And that root system, that has a lot more roots than this one, so it's a little more advanced. These do squeeze down a little bit, but it's still a little tough to get in there because they are bigger than the basket.
It's going to be an apocalypse scorpion.
We have the food inside, and we transferred all the plants into the baskets. That's the word I was looking for. I couldn't think. And now we're going to bring it to the AeroGarden, get it all
There's
set
the
up.
base. This literally just sits right inside of it. This plug plugs right into the base. I'm going to set the light down to the lowest setting. All right, so now you can see the different settings. You can set the clock. This one here is going to start a garden. So I want to start it brand new. One is set the clock. So the time right now is 7 p.m. And the clock is set. I'm going to continue. Select plant type. Veggies, 16 hours of light. Veggie garden set. And now you can see it's showing you 0. That's how many days it's been planted. And 14. That's the plant food timer. And it goes down every day. And when it gets to 0, this green light will flash, letting you know that you need to add food. As the plants grow, light, you can raise it up to 24 inches. You want to keep it as close to the top of the plant as possible, and this is the lowest setting. So you're good to go. We'll check back with you as these start to grow and give you some updates. Till next time.